So I'm here with Oli Hearsum. We're going to talk about his journey going from copywriting to digital marketing. Love everyone that's going to be watching this. Please reach out to myself or Oli with any questions. That one of my favorite things about being stuck at home, as if there could be a favorite thing about being stuck at home, is the opportunity to meet interesting people without having to fly or drive or bike or take a train to go meet people. Like, the entire world is now opened up to us to have interesting conversations. And I just find so much value out of having these conversations and recording them and putting them up on social media and podcasts for everyone else to listen to. So Oli, why don't you introduce yourself and then we'll get right into it.
Hey, I'm Oli. I'm the search strategist at Strategic, based in the UK. As Eli alluded to, I started off as a copywriter, had very little idea of the wider digital marketing landscape, despite doing a predominantly marketing-based diploma and degree, and then moving into sort of some of the paid channels, so paid search, paid social, then coming back full circle to more SEO based work, and now I've got a real passion for content strategy alongside the technical SEO best practices.
Cool. So how did that transition happen? Like, how did you go from copywriting over to digital marketing, and how does that sit with you? How do you like it?
So yeah, I'm obviously extremely passionate. I think everyone that's ever met me would say that I genuinely love what I do, and that, yeah, I live and breathe it, really. Some even refer to it as a bit of a hobby, which I don't think that might be taking it a bit too far. But yeah, copywriting was just came about because in my first role, I did go in as sort of a broader digital marketing executive, but I sort of pride myself, and my first boss sort of saw me as the ability to create some strong content. So yeah, like I said, I had no idea about content structure, keyword research, any of the basic principles that I sort of take for granted today. But that sort of whet the appetite, and there was the interest there as to how I can get more eyes in front of my content. And then in my second role, again, it was a broad role initially, and I really took hold of the paid social offering. So really leveraging and getting increased sort of visibility and impressions and reach from my content by that channel. Then again, I sort of pivoted and went to the more paid search side of things. So the more sort of pull marketing, in terms of people that actively want to find something from you, as opposed to the push marketing where you're putting your message on them effectively in like the paid social space. And yeah, to be honest, they were sort of my main passions. I was quite acutely aware that SEO was a bit black hat. There was sort of some underhand tactics perhaps that were going on, and that made me steer way clear of it. But as my knowledge increased, and as I got a greater understanding that these sort of black hat tactics that I'm fully aware of now are long gone, thankfully, and that it's rewarding strong content, good technical underpinnings, I just thought I'd like a bit of that. I want to try my hand at that, and ever since that day, that's been sort of my main channel of interest, but more moving into the content strategy side of things as well now, but obviously having the technical underpinnings to really make your content go as far as possible, really.
That's great. So what you do to learn about SEO? What's your go-to source?
To be honest, I've said it before, and we are incredibly fortunate that there is so much learning opportunities within this space. There's shed loads of online forums, obviously during the pandemic, as you alluded to. There's some amazing conferences worldwide where you can meet like-minded individuals to talk all things search. And then, yeah, there's just tons of really good resources. So I started out sort of looking more broadly, the types of smart insights and stuff like that initially, before moving into when I started to really hone in on certain specialisms. So for my paid search, I was looking at things like SEO Interactive's blog, also any Moz content, the sort of keyboard, the Whiteboard Fridays sort of thing, But then I'd highly recommend anyone starting out to get a Twitter account or a LinkedIn account and just follow these people and really take note and quickly establish who speaks sense effectively, because there is a lot of noise out there, and see who really takes your interest really and who you want to follow. But there's so many great roundups and stuff. There's a really really encouraging like women in tech group led by Arij and a few other people that's really going places as well. So there's so much out there in the community that I'd highly recommend reading up on. And if you're there is no greater industry for that continuous learning really.
What's your favorite tool and why?
Again, it's a tricky question. I love Ahrefs or Ahrefs. That's brilliant for me in terms of that competitor performance sort of indicators. I know it isn't only an approximation, but I really like the UI of that tool in particular. Obviously, Screaming Frog is every tech SEO's best friend effectively in terms of how powerful that can be. But like I say, I'm sure a lot of similar people would say, just if you're lucky enough to be able to dip your toes in and have a number of different tools at your disposal, like SEMrush or SEMrush, maybe even Moz, Sitebulb, they all offer something slightly different, but they're all invaluable to have within your toolkit, as long as it doesn't overwhelm you with the amount of data that you're dealing with really.
Yeah. So talk to me about a little bit about your day-to-day. Are you client facing, or are you strictly in the data and passing it off to someone else who talks to your clients?
No, I'm largely client facing, so I'll be on a lot of client calls, a lot of calls like this sort of thing with the account management team, with the account direction team, just talking about search, both organic and paid, but largely organic. But I love sort of that time with headphones in, you're in your own space, you're tens of thousands of rows deep in a Google sheet or spreadsheet or whatever. But I also love sort of showing my enthusiasm and seeing the excitement the other end with clients being enthusiastic about the results, and if they've got any questions, and I'm keen to talk about all things search really.
Got it. And you mentioned that you're addicted to this. Like how many hours a day do you spend reading SEO, thinking about SEO, experimenting with SEO?
I'll try to sort of stress that I do have other interests outside of this, but I will find myself just scrolling through Twitter or LinkedIn and finding an article that, they're talking about a subject that I'm passionate about in a slightly different way. Let's bookmark that. I've got a ridiculous number of bookmarks on my phone and sort of downloading them. But it's probably it's not excessive. You do need to find that medium. It's easy to become too absorbed in digital marketing and search, but probably an hour a day just reading up and upskilling really. So in addition to my day job. So
got it. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be in 10 years from now?
That's the $1 million question in terms of how my career has changed. Like I said, when I first came into the industry, I had no idea, as I didn't want to go into SEO at all, and now it's my favorite channel effectively. And it changes all the time. But if I'm speaking now, I'd probably want to be sort of working very closely with sort of digital PR members, paid search members, and SEO, just to form that sort of cohesive, integrated search strategy and really leading that. That would probably be my goal at the moment. If not, and obviously in addition, working with content writers to really enhance some of their content. Although I was a copywriter, I appreciate that I work with much stronger copywriters, but I believe I can overlay some of the sort of content marketing principles on top of that as well.
All right, let's dig a little deeper on this. Okay, that's too career focused. Like, are you going to be the boss? Are you going to be running your own agency? Are you going to be an airline CEO? Like, where do you take, like for everybody watching this right now, where do you go from doing SEO as a day job to becoming a baller?
Yeah, I'm far from that, so I'm sure there's better people placed to answer that. But just I want to keep learning. I want to get as good as I can be, while maintaining a balance. Like I'm still stressed. Yeah, I just want to do great work and hopefully see that as where it can take me. It's not always the answer that a lot of people want to hear, but I'm obviously money is important, but it's not my primary motivation. I want to be really doing good work, feel fulfilled in my role. I want to be, yeah, I've been fortunate enough to lead teams in the past, and I'd love to go back to that and take on more of a management role in terms of heading up a digital PR, paid search, SEO offering potentially in years to come. Who's to know? But yeah, there's millions of different paths people can take, and I'm at a really exciting agency that's going places. So yeah, it's an exciting time. But like I say, I'd stress to anyone, continuously learn. Never think you've made it, or there's nothing more that anyone can teach you. Even the people that I really look up to, they'd be the first to admit that there is opportunities. There's things that they find out that's new to them every day. So yeah, never rest on your laurels or think you're the real deal. Just yeah, keep grounded and keep trying to do your best and stay passionate about it, really.
That's good. What's your biggest SEO secret you've never told anyone before?
Biggest SEO secret. I probably would say just something basic. It's been said a million times, but there is so much value in looking at what works for other people. Like take your head up, put your head up from the day job, sort of look around, see what's working well for others, test and test again. Don't ever read anything in an extensive blog, although I do stress the importance of doing that. Just don't take anything as gospel. Just sort of test it, see if it works for your client or in your space, and then yeah, just keep iterating based on what works and take the learnings from what doesn't really. But there's so much value in seeing competitor growth and what they're doing. Like there's tons of good blogs out there. I know there was one released about Canva's growth yesterday. I forget who released that, but just seeing what's working well for other people and try to reverse engineer, but while bear in mind that no two sectors are the same. If you're going to apply the learnings from some industrial company to a finance company, then it's just chalk and cheese. There's no direct comparison there. But yeah, just keep an eye, have some alerts set up if, in tools like Ahrefs or Google Trends, Google Alerts, sorry. And yeah, keep an eye on what's working well for your competitors, really.
Yeah, there you have it. Ollie's biggest secret is watch your competitors. So
it's not a very big one.
yeah. So I love having these conversations. I always meet interesting people. I learn interesting things. Anybody else wants to have a conversation, ping me on LinkedIn. Ollie, it's been great talking to you. Great getting to know you. Love your insights on going from copywriter to SEO. I'm glad you figured out that there's no dark side to this. I'm glad you've become addicted to it and you figured out how you're going to become a baller.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this with me, Ollie.
No problem. Privilege. Thank you.